I'm here in the beautiful farmland of northern Pennsylvania, and this is what I really call farm market fresh. And I've been here visiting my friends on the farm today. Isn't it just a beautiful setting? Well, right now, I'm going to prepare fresh vegetables for you in some delicious recipes on today's show. Please join me.
Jazzy, you're going to be healthy with the Jazzy Vegetarian. Jazzy, so snazzy. We're gonna cook something healthy and light. Jazzy, so snazzy.
So join me in the kitchen right now.
We're gonna cook something healthy and light. That's right.
Farm Market Fresh. Today's show highlights easy recipes that are bursting with just picked flavor. We're going to start with my refreshing garden vegetable basil gazpacho. And next up, my tempting zucchini fettuccine with tomato salsa. Now, as fall draws near, apples stand front and center in my classic autumn apple crisp. And zesty arugula and walnut pesto makes the perfect pasta topper. So let's prepare it now. I was inspired to make this gazpacho one day when I'd been to the farm market, and I had a whole bunch of tomatoes and I had a whole bunch of basil. And then I started thinking about maybe I could make a chilled raw soup. This is just a fabulous, fresh, zesty tasting gazpacho that everybody is going to enjoy. It's so easy to put together. I'm going to show you how right now. First of all, I'm going to start with some beautiful tomatoes that I got at the farm market. I just have to show these to you. I've been so excited to show them off. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So first I'm going to take this fabulous tomato, which is going to represent 2 medium tomatoes. You must agree. And just going to cut these very, very, very roughly. That's all, just big pieces like that. The next thing we'll need is onion. We use 1/2 onion. And just take off the peel, of course. You can use a sweet onion. This is just some little organic onions I bought. Just chop it like that, throw it in. Kind of a hefty clove of garlic, and I'm going to cut that in half. It's about 2 ribs of celery. Just kind of rough chopped it again. Throw it all in there. Next up is a 1/4 cup of parsley. And then, of course, what would basil gazpacho be without the basil? We're going to be using between 4 and 5 fresh basil leaves, 1/2 teaspoon of tamari, a little pinch of salt, 1/2 teaspoon brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, and that is just about it, because what we're going to add to give it some real oomph, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1 tablespoon of a very good quality red wine vinegar. Now you can adjust these, of course, to taste. So that's all there is to it. Place that on top of there. Start it kind of slow. Now you don't want to make it into a liquid. There we go. That's it. When you use the fresh tomatoes like this, oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. And that is the perfect texture for this soup. Now I want to get this into my refrigerator because I want to chill it for at least 4 hours. You want to make sure it's really chilled through so it's icy cold when you eat it. And now, apple crisp. Good. Autumn apple crisp. This is something I looked forward to every late summer and fall because my grandmother had a huge apple tree in her backyard. It was just always so many apples that we would have homemade applesauce and we would have this fabulous apple crisp. And we're going to start with the topping, which is 1/3 of a cup of non-dairy margarine spread. And then I'm following that with 1 cup of rolled oats, 1 tablespoon of organic whole wheat flour. Toss that right in. 1 tablespoon of organic brown sugar. Toss that right in there. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then this adds some extra jazzy pizzazz. I like to put in 3 tablespoons of unsalted sunflower seeds. These are raw sunflower seeds. You can use salted if you want. You can also use roasted. Now we're going to get our hands dirty. I'm going to take my ring off and my bracelet for this. You can feel it with your fingers. When all the oats are covered and there's no more big pieces of margarine in there, then your topping is put together absolutely perfectly. Let me wipe off my hands and then I'm going to set that aside. Now there are so many different kinds of apples. This is pretty neat because I was in my market and I found some apples and they're called jazz apples. We're going to use 4 medium apples, and we're going to begin by peeling them. You know, when I would go over to my grandmother's house in the fall, we would pick the apples from the trees. Or there'd be so many apples on the ground in her backyard. My sister and I would go out to the backyard and pick them up and eat them. Then I'd walk into the kitchen, and she'd have all these apples on the stove. She'd be making applesauce. And my mother and my grandmother would freeze it, and we'd have fresh applesauce all winter long. It was something I will never forget. It was so delicious. All right, there's 4 apples. Now we're just going to core them. This is the way I like to do it. I just like to cut it kind of around the core, like that. Especially if I'm doing slices like this. I want the slices to be kind of uniform for this. These apples are so crispy. This is going to make a fantastic apple crisp. All right, here's the last piece of these beautiful jazz apples I'm using in my apple crisp today. Fantastic. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. You can also use pumpkin pie spice. And then I like to use 3 tablespoons of organic raisins. They add really great taste in this apple crisp. Then this makes it super, super jazzy. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of organic maple syrup. Just toss it about like that till you can see that the apples are just slightly coated with a little bit of the cinnamon, a little bit of the maple syrup. These are such sweet apples. I probably didn't even have to put any maple syrup in it, but I like to add the extra maple syrup. Now I have a medium-sized casserole dish. Grease it out really, really well with your vegan margarine. And then just toss in your gorgeous, gorgeous apples. Woo! That's nice. And flatten it out so it's all going to be kind of equal in thickness. Now I've got my fantastic topping. This is what makes it great. And just sprinkle that topping over the top of your apple crisp. Now today I'm going to serve this coconut-based, non-dairy, vanilla bean ice cream. And you'll see when I scoop this out and the ice cream's going to melt over the top of it. And, oh boy, it's really, really, really good. I'm going to tightly cover this in some foil, and I'm going to put it in a 400-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. The last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you want to take the foil off so the top gets all brown and crispy. Yay! All right, next up, my zucchini fettuccine with my fresh tomato salsa. Where do you see the surprise I have in store for you? I came up with this one day when I had some fantastic organic zucchini, and I wanted to use them for something spectacular, and you're going to see what I came up with. Now we're going to use 2 cloves of garlic in this recipe. Now this is so easy to make, and it's actually a raw dish. Are you still mystified? Sometimes in the summer you just don't feel like turning on the oven, you don't feel like turning on the stove, and this is the kind of dish you want for that night. When I served this to my husband, he said, "Oh, we're having spaghetti." So you're going to see how ingenious this is. Such a fabulous best way to use all this zucchini that's going to come your way. We're also going to use some fresh basil. There's about 10 leaves that I've just stacked up. And just roll them up like that. Then just use your knife and cut across all of your leaves all at once. That's a quick way to mince basil. Since it's all going in the same place, I'm going to toss that in with garlic. What you want to look for in your marketplace when you're buying the zucchini is a medium zucchini that is kind of straight. You're going to see why. Leave it all intact. Wash it very, very well because we're going to use the skin for this. But look at that beautiful zucchini. It's just perfect for my zucchini fettuccine. I'm going to bring my bowl a little bit closer to me. This is all you need to do is a nice sharp carrot peeler. You can just then take the tip of the zucchini and hold on to that stem. That's why you're not going to cut it off first. And then you're just going to start peeling your zucchini fettuccine. Isn't that neat? It's really, really cool. And you just continue on. It goes really quickly. You think it would take a long time, but it really doesn't. And then you come to that end, keep this and slice it up later to make with your steamed vegetables the next day. I'll do one more for you. Take your zucchini, hold it by the stem, facing down like this over your cutting board or over your bowl, and just start shaving your zucchini fettuccine. Turn it as you go. They're not all going to be exactly the same, but you're going to see what a spectacular salad this makes. Now this is perfect for a main dish salad in the summertime, served with a little crusty bread. That's really all you might need. Or it's beautiful as a second course if you're having a fancy dinner party. Really beautiful for that. Also great for a light lunch. I'm going to use these fantastic tomatoes that I picked up from the farm stand. Wow, aren't those just super duper beautiful? And you want to use 2 medium tomatoes. This is a really great little trick. I love using a serrated bread knife to cut tomatoes because it just goes through so easily without bruising the skin. And you want to chop nice little cubes about the same size for this gorgeous salad. Look how pretty that is. You want all the juice in there. You want all the seeds. Just let it be in all its glory in this beautiful salad. Okay, that's perfect. All right, now I can set my cutting board aside. While I'm doing this, I can smell that apple crisp. All right, now we're going to put it all together. I need my big spoon so I can toss it all together. And we're going to add our beautiful basil and our fresh garlic. A little pinch of salt. Going to give it a nice pop. A little bit of fresh ground pepper. And about a tablespoon of good quality organic cold-pressed olive oil. All right, there we go. Tossing this, make sure it all gets covered in a little bit of that olive oil, a little bit of that delicious, delicious garlic. Put it in a pretty bowl. This smells so good. The fresh taste of summer. Look how gorgeous that is. Beautiful green of the zucchini. There it is. Our wonderful zucchini fettuccine with fresh tomato salsa. Now, my fantastic zesty arugula walnut pesto. So let's get started on that. I have boiled some water. I have a half a pound of fusilli, which I'm going to put in this rolling water. And this is going to cook for about 9 minutes. Let me bring it back up to a boil. And I'm going to be making a nice batch of my zesty arugula walnut pesto. We're going to be using some of it for this, and then some of it I'm going to freeze for later. So let me go and put that all together as my pasta cooks.
Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi, Laura. Welcome to our farm. So glad you could come out.
Well, I'm so glad I could come out. I'm here on Jocelyn's beautiful farm. It's a fantastic summer day, and thank you for this basil. It's the aroma that I'm smelling. I wish we had smell-o-vision today because it's just fantastic. I have guests coming tomorrow, and I'm going to make pesto with it. It has a little twist. It's arugula, walnut, basil pesto, and it's a little different from usual pesto you might make. Now, I know that you have a fantastic pesto that you make.
I put it in the food processor with some of our own organic garlic, organic olive oil, and sea salt, and process it and then press it into an ice cube tray. You can put some parchment paper over, put it in the freezer, and you can use it for all your winter recipes, and it maintains its fresh green look.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to start off with 3 cups of fresh baby arugula. Just toss it all right in there. So don't have your mixer plugged in if you're going to do it like this. Mine is unplugged right now. Want to keep it safe. And then next, my beautiful fresh basil. I'm going to use 1 cup of lightly packed fresh basil. Toss that all right in there and squish it down. Then I'm going to use 2/3 of a cup of a good quality organic olive oil. 2/3 of a cup. Toss that right in there. Then I'm using 2 large cloves of garlic. You can use less or more garlic depending on how much you like garlic, but I absolutely love garlic. So that's going to just toss right in there. A little bit of fresh ground pepper. I'm going to use about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And of course, it wouldn't be walnut pesto without walnuts. 1 cup of walnuts. So either raw or roasted walnuts work great. 2 tablespoons of water. And then my little jazzy twist on this is 1/4 cup of wheat germ. Toss it right in there. Put the top on it before you plug it in. Can't tell you how many times I plugged in the mixer and the top isn't on and everything goes all over the place. So you don't want to do that. Meanwhile, let's test our pasta. Oh yeah, that's done. I'm going to just drain my pasta. Got my pasta all drained. I'm just going to toss that into my bowl. And it doesn't have to be super hot for this dish. Actually, it's better if it's kind of lukewarm, so we can just set our pasta aside. All right, that's it. Look what a beautiful, beautiful color that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow. Whew. There we go. Set that aside. Now I've got my beautiful fusilli. And I'm just going to take a little bit at a time, about half of it, like I said, because it's a 1/2 pound of pasta. And toss that right all together. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous color. Wow. You can do so many things with this. You can serve it hot, like I'm going to serve it right now. But also, if you want to make it early in the day, you can serve this as a great chilled pasta salad. I'm going to plate up this beautiful farm market fresh menu for you right now. Wow, my fantastic autumn apple crisp. This is how I like to plate it up. Just when it's nice and warm, which it is right now. Put it on a plate. Make sure you get a couple of raisins with that. Some of that delicious maple syrup juice from below. It's oh so pretty and oh so crispy. I've got some vegan ice cream, non-dairy ice cream. And it is so easy to get this in the market these days. This is coconut based. So it's going to taste really yummy with my fantastic apple crisp. Look how nice that looks. And it's so delectable. I'm going to eat my dessert first. The apples are so sweet, and the crispy oats on top have such a crunch to it. That is super duper delicious. I recommend it highly. Now I want to show you this garden gazpacho, which is so pretty, and I've chilled it for several hours. I like to put just a little bit of green in the middle. That's all you need to do to dress this. Just taste that. Look how beautiful that is. That beautiful pinky color. That freshness just pops out at you with those fresh tomatoes, that fresh basil, and a little bit of chili powder, which has had its time to make its way in, dispersing into the flavor of that gazpacho. It's really, really yummy. Now our zucchini fettuccine, look how I've plated that up. It's really pretty. We'll take a little bite of that. A little bit of the zucchini fettuccine. Roll it up just as you would regular pasta. Look at that, isn't that delectable? That is out of this world. It's a little bit crunchy. It's got a little bit of that pasta feel that I was telling you about. And then the garlic just has a little bit of undertone in it. Those fabulous farm fresh tomatoes. That's a great salad you can serve anytime you find fresh zucchini. I just love it. Now to my zesty arugula and walnut pesto pasta. And I've used a few fusilli with this. I'm just going to take a taste of that. Pretty color, pretty presentation. Wow. I can't tell you how much I love this. A little bit of that basil, a little bit of that garlic, that arugula is just wafting up, and then the fabulous walnuts, and it just all comes together. It's 10 minutes to make that. I want to thank you for being here with me today. I had such a wonderful time preparing these farm market fresh veggies and fruits for you. So the next time you're in your farm market and you see all these vegetables around, perhaps you're going to pick them up and say, I've got some fantastic recipes that I'm going to make with that. Please consider some of these delicious choices for creating meals that are good for you, and you can create them in your own home kitchen. So until next time, be happy, be healthy, and be well from the Jazzy Vegetarian.
Visit our website at jazzyvegetarian.com to connect with Laura, see videos, find your favorite recipes, and more. Follow Laura on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Jazzy Vegetarian, lively vegan cuisine that's easy and delicious, includes all the recipes from this season and is available for $26.95. This 10th anniversary edition companion cookbook features full-color photos, menu plans, and over 120 recipes. For information or to order, visit jazzyvegetarian.com.
Next time on Jazzy Vegetarian,
This is a great recipe to make anytime that company is coming to dinner.
featuring my fabulous fancy stuffed peppers and my velvety carrot soup and savory kale. To finish the meal with a flourish, my spectacular chocolate ganache pudding. Please join me.